Hi, welcome to this video. This is going to be a pregnancy update from basically conception or even before conception up until week 11, which is what I am right now. And I started filming this video before I realized the battery in my camera was about to die, and it was pretty rambly. And instead of saying that I'm going to try not to ramble this time, I'm just going to say get ready for some rambles. First off, I'm sorry about this whole thing. I was going to shower before making this video and even put some makeup on maybe and stuff, but then this morning I started having this pain in my arm, and that's why I also have this like heating pad or heating pillow on my arm, and I can't really lift my arm up, so I can't wash my hair, I can't brush my hair, and I'm just kind of incapacitated for right now. So yeah, that's why I look the way I look. But yeah, let's get into the pregnancy. I have written some notes down in my phone, so I'm gonna look at that every now and then. Well, going back first off to how this whole thing started, obviously when we wanted to try for a third baby, well, maybe it's not obvious to everyone, but we can't get pregnant naturally because I don't ovulate. So we went back to the fertility clinic where we conceived our youngest son, Theodore, in August, I think, and we did one cycle with hormones and didn't get pregnant, and then we started a second cycle, and that was in October. So at the end of October or middle to end, I had an ovulation shot and I ovulated, and then just a few days later my husband Michael had kind of a mental breakdown, I guess, and he lost his job and he went into a depression, and everything was just and is kind of very frail in our family right now. So I actually decided, and I told him that we were gonna stop trying for a baby, because I very selfishly just knew that having a baby and being pregnant and everything when Michael's not at his best is gonna be very, very tough on me, because pregnancy is hard and I need a lot of help from him. And also it would be tough for him, obviously, and I didn't want to put him through that when he was already kind of at his lowest point. And then on November 9th, I did take a pregnancy test because I was 15 days past ovulation and it was positive. So it was kind of too late to make that decision that we were going to stop trying, because I was already pregnant at that point. I just didn't know it. And getting that positive result was very... I had very mixed emotions, which I have never had before. I've been pregnant 5 times. I have 2 kids, so I've had 3 miscarriages, and I've always wanted it so much. And obviously I did this time too, but I had at the same time just gotten used to the thought and set my mind to that we were not gonna have another baby, at least not now. And like I said, I had already thought about how hard it would be. So when I did get pregnant, that was kind of tough for me, and that's why it took some time before I told people, because I just needed, or we needed, to land in all of it. So yeah, I didn't even want to tell Michael that I was pregnant because I was worried that it would send him into a tailspin. But at the same time, I was also getting a UTI. I had had very bad shakes and fevers for about 2 days when I took the test. I took the test in the middle of the night, and I realized that now I could not just let my body go through it and hope that it was going to get better on its own, because it wasn't just my body anymore. So that morning I decided that I needed to go to the doctor, so I kept calling different doctor's offices and ERs and stuff to try and get an appointment. And I was kind of sneaking around because I didn't want Michael to hear that I was pregnant, and I thought that would obviously be an important thing to mention when I talked to the healthcare people. And then it's kind of funny, Theo was going through my purse and he found a packet, like a two 2-piece packet, whatever, of pregnancy tests, and I had used one that night, and the other one was in the packet, and Michael found it and he was like, Theo found this in your purse, can I just put it back, or I don't know, whatever. And he didn't think any more about it, but I very paranoidly thought, oh my gosh, he's gonna like think that I'm pregnant, or he's gonna think something about it, and I just blurted it out, blurted it out right there. I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. And he wasn't, I mean, he was happy. I expected him to maybe just be stressed about it, and maybe he was, but if he was, he didn't show that to me. He seemed happy, but yeah, again, it was important to get to the hospital, because I also read that UTIs often get worse if you're pregnant. I don't know exactly why, but whatever. So finally I got to the ER. I sat there for a few hours and waited, and then when I finally got to do a blood test, they told me that I had very, very high levels of infection in my body, and because of the pregnancy they wanted to admit me to the hospital, but because of how Michael was doing, I really just didn't want to leave him at home with the kids, because I knew that that would be tough for him. So I convinced them to let me go home with antibiotics. Then I came back 2 days later to do another blood test, and the infection levels were even worse. So at that point they were like, you have no choice now, you're being admitted to this hospital. And so I got antibiotics on a drip for about a day, and then they sent me home with other antibiotic pills, and those took, so those made me feel better very fast. Sorry, I'm gonna have to take a break because I am very nauseous, which is something we're gonna get into soon. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and we're just gonna have to continue this video from bed. I just sat on my bathroom floor for a few minutes, and I really did think that I was gonna throw up, which doesn't happen to me, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, the UTI and also the antibiotics, my arm, made it so I had a bunch of symptoms that I didn't know if they were because of the UTI or because of the strong antibiotics or because of the pregnancy. It was just kind of all bunched up. So for the first couple of weeks of knowing that I was pregnant, I didn't really record any symptoms because like I said, I didn't know what was what. Pain. Why am I itchy? But from week, let's see, 6 weeks and 2 days, that's the day when I wrote down that I had started having nausea and that I was affected by smells, which is like, those are 2 symptoms that I've had with my other kids. So I had expected them, even though they weren't welcome, but I expected them, and in a way they were welcome just because they gave me some kind of little reassurance that everything was hopefully going well with the pregnancy. So that's when that started. And then at week 7, I wrote down that I started having a bit of sensitivity in my nipples, TMI. But yeah, I don't really get sore boobs, as I know a lot of people talk about. But for me, it's more like the nipples, and usually not a lot. And that's just how it's been this time too. It hasn't been a lot of that, but it started then. And also at week 7, we did an ultrasound, and we got to see a beating heart. So that was awesome. And I think that's when we told Tyrion, or maybe we told him like a week after, but we wanted to wait to see a heartbeat before we told Tyrion. And yeah, that's when we started telling people, and we told Tyrion. Yeah. And then at week 8, I wrote down that I had started feeling breathless, which I definitely am. Just walking up one flight of stairs makes me like be breathless for a good 2 to 3 minutes, which feels so weird just at the beginning of pregnancy, but that's just the way it is. And I was also really starting to feel the tiredness, and that's been, I think, the hardest part. The nausea and the tiredness have been the toughest part so far with this pregnancy. And And that's also, I think, because with my other pregnancies I was studying, and with this pregnancy I'm working full-time, and there's a big difference in how much you can like let your body rest. And I don't know how everyone does it without complaining and without like, I don't know. And I don't know for how long I'm going to be able to do it. I mean, I have to work, but I just don't understand how you do it. Like, not being able to take that nap in the middle of the day that I always did with the other kids, because I was at home studying, like, on my computer in bed. I can't do that now, obviously. And that's a bit frustrating. Let's see, let's move on so this isn't too rambly and too long. At week 9, we had another ultrasound at well, I was moved back, I think, 3 or 4 days, so I thought that my due date was on July 18th, but on that ultrasound she said that you are 9 weeks and 3 days, which made my due date July 15th. Yeah, and that's what we're going by right now, and obviously we'll do at least 2 more ultrasounds, and maybe those will move the date even more, but somewhere in the middle of July, I think, is going to be my due date. Even though I think I'm gonna have the baby earlier, because that's what's happened with the other kids. So I am mentally getting ready for June. Anyway, week 10, which is last week, I wrote down that I thought that the nausea was kind of going away, and I was a tiny bit nervous about it, just because when I had a miscarriage at week 8, and I didn't find out about it until week 13, I had stopped having nausea at week 8, but at that point I just was happy that I wasn't having nausea anymore, and I didn't think that it was a sign of the pregnancy stopping. But then a few days later I wrote down that, yeah, no, the nausea's not gone. I probably just had a few days of it being a bit lighter, and then it came back. And this week, I think, has been the worst so far. This weekend definitely has been the worst so far about the nausea. I am completely crippled by it right now, and I am not even throwing up. I have never thrown up, I think, in any of my pregnancies. I just have this constant nausea, and it is very frustrating because it makes me not be able to be with my kids the way I want to. I can't really cook because, again, it's tied to smells. Also, thinking about food makes me nauseous. Most of the time it's any food. It doesn't matter what kind of food it is. It makes me nauseous just thinking about it. And I love cooking, so it's annoying, and it makes me feel not myself, obviously. Hopefully it's gonna go away soon. I think I watched one of the pregnancy updates that I did when I was pregnant with Theo, and I think I said at like week 14, 15 that the nausea was going away. So I guess like 2 or 3 more weeks, and then hopefully it's gonna at least start getting better. Yeah, I wrote at week 11 in my notes, which is now everything is peaking, which I hope is the case. I hope it doesn't get worse than this, that this is the peak, and hopefully it will get better. And tomorrow I go into week 12, and on New Year's Eve I go into week 13, which means that the first trimester, at least the way you count them here in Sweden, is the first 12 weeks is the first trimester. Then that will be over with, which will be a good feeling. And then on January 4th, my dad's birthday actually, we're having I can't remember what it's called in English, but it's an ultrasound where they check certain body parts of the baby to see if there's an elevated chance of them having Down syndrome, I think it is, and they pair it also with a blood test that I have already taken, just to kind of get a percentage chance of Down syndrome. I think it is. And I guess if the chance is very high, if there's a big risk, you can go in and do extra testing. I don't know. I just really want to do the ultrasound because of doing ultrasounds and seeing that the baby's doing well reassures me after all the miscarriages, to be honest. So yeah, that's what's up. and I don't have a planned schedule for the pregnancy updates. With the nausea and the fatigue and having 2 kids and working full-time, I definitely don't have the same like time or brain space or sorry, the nausea is getting worse again. Sorry. I can't keep up with the amount of videos and the schedule that I used to when I was pregnant with Theo. So I think I'm just gonna do pregnancy updates when I feel like it, when I have something to talk about, or when I just feel like it's time. So we'll see when the next one goes up. But this, I guess, is ish the update for the first trimester, and I'm gonna try to go to bed and sleep now. Well, after editing the vlog and uploading it, or the video, I'm gonna try and sleep, because I don't want to feel this way. And tomorrow's Christmas, and my arm hurts, and I'm nauseous. And I'm feeling very sorry for myself right now, but I'm very happy that I'm pregnant, and I'm very happy that I'm having symptoms, so I don't have to worry too much. And yeah, I'm just a bit whiny, but overall, I'm happy. I think I need to end with that. So please like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more of our bi-weekly family vlogs. And we will see you on Wednesday. And thank you for watching today. And I can't wait because my arm hurts, but bye!